Right, good evening, everybody, and thank you all for joining us. I can see we've got loads of people coming on this evening, so we're absolutely buzzing to have you. So thank you for putting your tea time a bit later or rushing to come and meet us. We really, really appreciate it. Right, we've got half an hour of some really interesting stuff coming up. This live workshop's all about making decisions about your post-16 options. It can be really hard figuring out what to do after your GCSEs. So the decisions you make can make an impact on any future qualifications you might need or any future career choices you might want to take. To help you think about the decisions you're making, I'm joined by two expert Inspira careers advisors. We've got Louise and we've got Daniel today. And they're going to share loads of information about the different routes that are available to you to help you make those all important decisions. Scary times. And as well as Daniel and Louise, we've also got some other Inspire advisors waiting in the background as well. So if you go back to the main lobby, there's a button that says Careers Advisors, and there's loads of people there waiting for your questions as well. As you can all see, we've got a chat box down the side, so everyone can see what you're writing. So obviously keep it on task, and I will try my very best to keep on top of all the questions that you might have. What we'll do is we will first of all go to Louise, then Daniel, and then at the end we will have some questions as well. We do only have a strict 30-minute policy, so if things have to tie things up, that's why. We're not just trying to rush off for a cup of tea or anything like that. It's just that we have to keep to the structure. So without later ado, I'm going to pass to the lovely Louise.
Thank you, Lauren. Hi, my name is Louise and I work for Inspira as a senior advisor, helping young people with their career aspirations. In fact, some of you may already have met me through a career appointment or as a parent, as my son is also in year 11. You might be wondering about the Bs. Well, I thought it tied in nicely with Inspira's aim, which is to inspire young people and adults to find their purpose and reach their potential to be bold, be relevant and be resilient. And it's also as a reminder that all our young people are working really hard like busy bees at their studies and options. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes explaining what apprenticeships, access to apprenticeships and traineeships are and what they have to offer. You can obtain details for websites through the Inspira activity zone. So if you are comfortable, let's begin with apprenticeships. What is an apprenticeship? Well, it's hands-on practical training, working alongside experienced staff in a job with off-the-job study. You get to gain job-specific skills in a sector you are interested in, and this can be anything from agriculture to education and healthcare. You get paid while you learn, and also known as earn as you learn, which is currently a minimum of £4.30 an hour for 14 to 16-year-olds, but in some instances this can be higher. You are given time to study at a college or a training provider, typically working 4 days a week with 1 day study or in a block of learning. Maths and English may be offered if required. Alternatively, training can be all done by the employer, for example, the armed forces. You will get holiday pay and employee rights. You will also gain a nationally recognised qualification at the end of your apprenticeship, and this could be functional skills, an NVQ, which is National Vocational Qualification, a technical certificate such as a BTEC or City and Guilds, or academic qualifications, which could be HNCs, Higher National Certificates, HNDs, foundation degrees, or even the equivalent of a full bachelor's degree. There are various levels of an apprenticeship, and these start at level 2. So I've put together a chart here. A level 2 is also known as an intermediate apprenticeship. Entry requirements, you do need to be over 16, and usually, but not always, GCSEs at grade 3, including maths and English. The duration of an intermediate apprenticeship is generally 12 to 18 months, but that can depend on the young person and the employer. Next step up is an advanced apprenticeship, also known as level 3. Entry requirements are usually 5 good GCSEs at grades 9 to 4, including your maths and English, or completion of an intermediate apprenticeship. This can last for up to 24 months. Then we have a higher apprenticeship, which is at levels 4 to 7. To get onto one of those, you need completion of an advanced apprenticeship or completion of a level 3 course, such as a BTEC, T-level or A-levels, and they can take between 3 and 6 years. And then we have a degree apprenticeship, again, between a level 6 and 7, and these may include 3 A-levels or a higher apprenticeship to get on one, on top of at least 5 GCSEs at grades 9 to 4, usually some form of prior work experience as well, and that can last between 3 and 6 years. So how do you get an apprenticeship? Apprenticeships are available for anyone aged 16 plus, and although the majority may start in July to September, vacancies can arise throughout the year. You can apply online through a training provider, such as a college, or directly to employers, for example, the Armed Forces or United Utilities. Ask family and friends for opportunities. Check company websites, including social media platforms, and don't be afraid to approach local employers with an up-to-date copy of your CV. You can demonstrate your passion for an apprenticeship by asking for some work experience. This demonstrates how keen you are and may lead to an apprenticeship. For some job areas, a Saturday job can lead to an apprenticeship. You can create an account on Find an Apprenticeship, and this will give you an alert when a vacancy appears. You can also search for apprenticeships on Indeed, which is an online job search website, and ucost.com for higher degree apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are great, but they can also be competitive. So consider your existing skills and knowledge and how you can develop them so that they stand out on your CV or application. Employers love to know why you have applied to work with them. What is the rationale about your career path? Was there a light bulb moment? Was it some form of work experience? Look at skills for the apprenticeship you are interested in on the Institute of Apprenticeship site. Have you learned any skills from being in any clubs, or do you volunteer? You may also want to consider a youth programme such as the Duke of Edinburgh scheme or NCS, National Citizen Service, to build on these skills and knowledge. It's worth noting that many apprenticeships are aimed at existing staff as well, such as nursing, paramedics, social work, management. So getting your foot in the door with an employer you want to work for is great. Remember, it is always important to have a backup plan, especially due to the competitiveness of apprenticeships. So consider other options such as sixth form, a course at your local college, employment, or an access to apprenticeship scheme. So what's an access to apprenticeship scheme? The Access to Apprenticeship programme provides people with practical skills and experience whilst working towards nationally recognised qualifications, and are usually for a year, spending up to 3 days at a training centre and the opportunity of a work placement. You will get additional support with GCSE Maths and English if required, and the scheme is a great opportunity to progress onto an apprenticeship. What is the entry requirement? GCSEs, including Maths and English at grade 3 or above, aged 16 to 18 at the start of the programme. And if you'd like to know more about access to apprenticeships, Gen 2 are currently offering engineering and digital and IT. Next up is traineeships. A traineeship is a skills development scheme supported by training providers and local employers that includes a work placement and possibly some basic maths and English. It can last from 6 weeks to a year, although more usually their duration is less than 6 months. A traineeship may start at any time of the year. You need to be aged 16 to 24 or 25 if you have an educational healthcare plan and be qualified up to a level 3. You can apply for a traineeship if you are unemployed or have little or no work experience and don't feel ready for an apprenticeship, or if you're ready but have been unsuccessful in applications. Traineeships have proved to bridge the gap between education and employment for many young people, and 83% of trainees found the programme improved their chances for the future by helping them to gain skills and experience and build on their own confidence. What will you do? You will get help with writing a CV with the prospect of work or an apprenticeship, help with English and maths if you need it, have a work placement of at least 70 hours, gain skills in the job you are interested in, opportunity to participate in an exit interview with your employer, which may lead to employment and allows invaluable feedback to assist with further applications. You won't get paid, but you may get a bursary to help with travel and meals and lots of valuable experience. So how do you find a traineeship? You can find a traineeship on the government website. You can search the provider listing. You can contact local training providers and colleges, or you can speak with your career advisor at school or Inspira. I really hope this presentation has helped you on the way to understand what an apprenticeship, access to apprenticeship and traineeships are. As a reminder, all websites mentioned are available through our activity zone. You can ask your career advisor in school or college for further information, or you can contact Inspira via our website, which also has lots of helpful information and videos, phone or social media platforms. But lastly, I just want to leave you with one thing and one thought, and that's whatever you decide, be happy. Thanks very much for your time today, and I hope you've found that presentation helpful.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Louise. We've got loads of questions, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to Daniel, just so we can get his information shared, and then it also might answer some of the questions you've got. So, Daniel, without further ado, if I pass over to you.
Yeah, hopefully this works okay. I'm Daniel. I work in the Barrow office for Inspira, and I work out at 2 high schools and the local college as well. So some people might recognise me or might see me out and about as well. So my presentation is talking about the options which are studying at 6th forms and towards A-levels and level 3 qualifications, but also studying at local colleges as well. So as Louise has already mentioned about apprenticeships and traineeships, the other 2 options, as I've just hinted, are to go to a 6th form college or to study in a further education college, which we have quite a number in Cumbria. So it's important to think of what type of career you might like to do in the future. And I always say to people, it's worth looking ahead to work backwards and think what qualifications might I need to do that career, but also any expectations. If you've got that burning ambition to go on to university, what grades might you need? What subjects might you need to do that? So making that decision after year 11, if you make the wrong decision, it's not the end of the world, but it might just take a bit longer to get to that long-term goal. So it is worth maybe thinking about that. You might also want to consider your preference in how you prefer to learn as well. Some people might be more academic and they might prefer to learn in the classroom environment, and they might just want to study individual subjects, while other people might be more practically minded. They might want to have a career or a work idea in mind, and they might prefer to, say, study at a local college instead of a more formal setting, which could be a 6th form. The other thing to sort of bear in mind is also what are your local colleges and 6th forms and how you might sort of get to them. Don't always choose it just because your friends are going on to a course, but think about what you want to do. So we'll start off by looking at college. So colleges people quite like because they do offer a wide range of courses, and they do sort of link into the world of work. And a lot of the courses are designed with employers in mind and areas of work in mind as well. So as you can see there on the slide, courses can range anything from hairdressing, media, construction, motor vehicle, engineering. And what is a really good idea is to maybe have a look around the colleges, and the colleges do have open days as well. You can go and find out and get a real feeling of those courses and also what studying at that college might be like. Each college in itself will have a different range of courses, but there'll also be quite common ones across the board. So a couple of examples of maybe some specialist sort of colleges that have got specialist courses. For instance, Furness College link very closely to the engineering sector, and they link very closely with a big employer in the local town of BAE. So a lot of their courses are geared up when it comes to engineering to move into that sector. Also, Myerscough College, nearer to Preston, they specialise in agricultural courses and also land-based courses, as well as other ones. So there are different levels of courses at the colleges. So they are quite dependent on which level you go into, depends on what GCSEs you get in your exams or coursework. So what you need to maybe think about is which level is realistically right for me. And you can go in at any level, so that makes colleges quite accessible to people, really. So don't worry about thinking, I haven't got this grade, I can't go to college. You can go to college with any grade. It might just mean going on a lower level initially and working your way up. So to give you an overview of those levels, so starting with entry level, you're looking at little or no qualifications for those courses, and they usually last for a year in total. Then you've got going on to a level 1 qualification, which in a lot of cases tends to be an introduction sort of course to that area. It's quite an overview of lots of aspects. So for example, if you did a level 1 construction course, you will cover a number of construction areas, and then you'll specialize as the year goes on, ready to go on to that specialist area. So for level 1 courses, you usually require 2 or 3 in maths, English and science to go on to those courses at GCSEs. And then we go on to level 2. So to study in a level 2 qualification, you usually need at least 3 GCSEs, a grade 3 or above, including maths, English, and sometimes science. Then we've got A-levels, which are your level 3 qualifications, along with BTEC extended diplomas. So the difference between those two is A-levels are more, in a lot of cases, the academic subjects, while BTEC extended diplomas are more vocational, so linked to the world of work a bit more. To study on those, you usually need a minimum of 5 GCSEs at least 4 or 5, and for also including maths, English, and usually a science sub-subjects as well. And they last for 2 years rather than all the other ones last for 1 year. Then we've got the T levels as well, which are a level 3 qualification. In a lot of colleges, they are a new level for this year. I know in Furness College, for instance, and some of the other local ones, they've only introduced them from this September. And they allow you to do a broader range of sort of subject areas, really. So for instance, you could do a T level in health, you could do a T level in education, and it'll cover the whole area rather than just going very specific when it comes to one, say, subject. So to do T levels, you would need, again, a minimum of 5 GCSEs out of 4, and usually 3 at level 5, including maths and English to study on those. So why do people study or like to go to college? A lot of people like going to college after year 11 because they've had enough at school at that point, and it's different to school, the environment especially. A lot of subjects are work-based, so they're vocational, and they're designed with local and national employers in mind. And it can also be seen as a stepping stone between school and work. So it still gives you qualifications, but it still gives you the opportunity to link into the world of work as well. And quite a lot of the courses do include some element of work experience, or employers do link to the colleges to try and teach on the courses as well. So for instance, the public services course, the police, the fire service, and the army and other armed forces do tend to come into colleges to actually teach as part of the subjects. So a full-time college is different to school. It's usually 16 hours a week, but if you haven't got at least a 4 or 5 in maths and English, the college will expect you to continue with that until you get to that level. So usually you're looking 16 hours a week and then an extra hour a week for each maths and English. It will differ slightly between colleges. Student at college also gives you the opportunity to develop independent skills. So those could include time management skills, but also organisational skills, because you are expected, you're given your timetable, but you won't have like teachers following you up. You're not in on that day. What you put into college is what you get out of it. As I've mentioned, there is that opportunity for work experience placements as part of your course. So if you might be doing a health and social care course, and you might do a short placement in a local care home or somewhere different or similar to that. There's a flexibility as well, because you're only there for a smaller number of hours in school. Quite a lot of students also work part-time while they're studying, but you just got to make sure that that doesn't interfere with your college course as well. Level 3 courses that you study at college can also lead on to university study because they do carry what we call UCAS tariff points. So they are recognised and they do allow you to go on to university study. So whether that's an A-level, whether it's a T-level, or whether it's a BTEC extended diploma over the 2-year period. And another point, as it says on there, as well as studying courses at college and qualifications, so a lot of colleges are seen, they are a training provider as well. So they do offer apprenticeships as well as the full-time courses. So that's college. So the next one is sixth form. And in Cumbria, we do have obviously a majority of the sixth forms attached to local schools, with the exception of in the Barrow area, where we have got a separate sixth form campus at Furness College. So even though it's part of Furness College, it's a separate building away from the main college building. So studying the sixth form, the main qualification or the main routes to going on to for young people interested in studying at university. So when you're looking at that, the majority of people study A-levels at a sixth form, and that will allow you, it's an additional route to go on to university study. It tends to be more academic qualifications in the sixth form, rather than linked to the areas of work that maybe a college course does. And it is a level 3 qualification, and it can lead on, as well as university, it can lead on to higher and degree apprenticeships. So entry requirements to study in the sixth form, they are similar to studying a level 3 qualification in a college. So you do tend to require, across the board, 5 GCSEs, 4 and 5. It's usually required by most sixth forms. And also, you're usually required for those two of those subjects include maths and English at a 4 or 5. Science-based subjects can require a grade 5 in a maths at GCSE. So that would be things like physics, biology, chemistry, etc. If you want to study maths at A-level as well, usually in a lot of places, you might require a grade 6 in maths at GCSE. And art and design courses can require a portfolio of previous artwork from GCSE. So it is useful if you have got any artwork that you've been doing as part of your coursework to keep any examples, because you might be asked if you want to go on to study an art and design course at both college and sixth form as well. And what I tend to say to people is that's the overview of the entry requirements, but there is sometimes differences between different colleges and separate sixth forms. So it is worth checking the exact entry requirements for different places. So studying at sixth form, you tend to study 3 sort of main subjects when it comes down to it. Some places do allow you to study 4 individual subjects, but it depends on the workload and the timetabling. So 3 tends to be and in a lot of cases, that manageable level. To study A-levels, it usually takes 2 years across the board, and you're working towards that A-level subject, so it's level 3 qualification. So it allows you, while studying at sixth form, all the tutors, or majority of the tutors, will be specialised in helping people to go on to study at university. So you will be given help, and you will be given advice on exploring university study, opportunities to go to open days at universities, but also to help with your application itself and preparing you for studying there. Sixth forms tend to be smaller than colleges, especially if I give you an example of Furness College, as Barrow Sixth Form as it's known, is a separate sixth form, and also it's a lot smaller than the main college. What you need to maybe think about is it's another option to keep your ideas open. So if you haven't got that specific job idea you're thinking of for the future, people like studying at sixth form because it just allows that options to be kept wider when it comes down to it. And it allows you to decide later. So you might decide in your second year when it comes down to it on what you want to do next. Or you might never decide and you think, oh, I've always wanted to study English at university, and you want to keep your options open. So when it comes down to applying, this applies to both colleges and sixth form. Each one will have separate sort of dates. What you tend to find is every college and sixth form will hold an open day, or an open evening, or maybe an open weekend. It could be over a Saturday, or one evening during the week. So it's worth checking with individual sixth forms when they're going to be. And that's usually an indication of when you can start applying to colleges and sixth forms for next September. Local sort of colleges as well will welcome you to contact them if you do have any questions. And they do have dedicated sort of student services teams that will ask if you've got any queries.
And that's really good, Daniel, actually, because we've had quite a few questions about when they can apply for colleges and things like that. Just sorry to kind of cut you off a little bit there. We have had loads of questions coming through. I don't think we'll get through them all because we've got like 3 minutes left. But just to kind of make use of that time for the last couple of minutes, if it's all right, Louise, if I ask you a couple of questions. The main one that kept coming through is obviously with the loss of Newton Rig, which colleges are going to run agricultural apprenticeship for 2022? Do we know?
Right. Well, every times are changing, so it could be different this time next year. However, what I can advise is that currently Kendal College and Myerscough College, which is in Preston, do offer agriculture courses, and in fact Myerscough College offer, in conjunction with UCC, which is Ullswater Community College based in Penrith, they do like a joint course. So that is ever evolving, and I would just keep checking websites for both of those colleges. So that's Kendal College and Myerscough College. They also offer animal courses as well, because I've noticed there is some questions there about animal courses.
Brilliant. Some of the other questions were things about interviews and how, what questions will be asked and stuff like that. But we do actually have a resources area on this forum. So if you go to our resources section, you can look in there about different interview questions. But also you can ask our Inspira team as well on the Careers Advisor chat. Just a couple for you, Daniel. Things like we talked about when applications close and when to access the college courses. Is it always the same amount of same time of year that people need to do applications for?
Well, colleges are quite open, to be honest. If you look at the FE colleges, for instance, sixth form, some of those are slightly different because you do have deadlines, when you've got to get your applications into. So it's worth double checking. But with regards to the FE colleges, so the likes of Furness College, Kendal College, West Lakes, etc., Carlisle College, they keep the applications open usually throughout the year. So from the first open day to September, you can still apply. But what I would advise people is some of the more popular courses is worth applying as soon as possible. So things like construction, engineering, etc. And one thing I didn't include is some of those will require you to do an aptitude test, especially engineering. And there might be some individual sort of chatty interviews really to see why you want to go onto those courses to make sure it's the right one for you as well.
Perfect. So sorry